Welcome, something short and sweet in the Parsha. This week, Parshas Bo. Today, we're going to deal with a weighty question. What's the secret of the survival of Jewish people? Not the Jewish people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised that we would survive intact with his Torah. The Navi Yeshaya tells us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ruchi asher alecha, my spirit which is upon you, and the words that I put in your mouth, lo yamushu mipicha, they will not leave your mouth, mipizera zaracha, your offspring, me'atavi adalam, forever. So the Jewish people will remain forever. But what about Jewish people, individual Jews? Can we account for why some were lost and some will remain? Can we predict assimilation? Can we predict, God forbid, families being lost and families perpetuating themselves Jewishly? Reb Zalman Sorotzkin makes a very pithy comment on this week's parsha. The pasuk tells us, "V'lo yuchlu hismameah." Klal Yisrael had to get out of Egypt. They couldn't tarry. And the Arizal explains that had they stayed, famously, had they stayed any longer, they would have been completely subsumed in the culture of Mitzrayim. They never would have left, completely assimilated. Says Reb Zalman, but think about it. Klal Yisrael in Mitzrayim is praised for being distinguished. They were mitsuyonim sham in the fact that they kept their language. They kept their particular dress. They kept their traditional names. They went in as Reuven and Shimon. They came out as Reuven and Shimon. So they had the trappings of a culture. They even took care of each other. In the hardest of times, they had chesed societies. But yet, says Reb Zalman, although they had a very distinctive culture and a very wonderful culture, 200 years they would have been lost, in marked contradistinction to that. Am Yisrael for 3,000 years have continued, not necessarily with the regular ingredients that keep a people going, land, language, and culture, but because we had Torah and mitzvahs. And we need to understand what is it about Torah and mitzvahs that perpetuates itself? My friends, at the core of our observance is our belief. Belief in Hashem's omnipotence. Belief in the unity of HaKadosh Baruch. It's the belief in a chosen people and our mission. It's the belief that this world is a training ground, that we're going to Olam Haba. The Rambam says that his teaching of the great tenets of our faith is his most precious teaching because it's at the core of everything that we do. However, belief alone or intellectual awareness alone is not enough. It will not carry us forward. The Rambam himself says that in his Guide to the Perplexed. He says intellectual concepts will not be accompanied, if they will not be accompanied with deeds which reinforce them, publicize them, and continue to perpetuate them among the people, so then they will not endure. This is the secret of a mitzvah, of mitzvos ma'asios. We have the great beliefs. We have our values. And those values are reinforced. They're perpetuated. They're brought to the forefront of our mind by action. Over the last 100 years, or several hundred years, I should say, the concept and the understanding of a mitzvah has been under attack. There were those that said that Judaism doesn't really have great beliefs. It was something popularized by Moshe Mendelssohn. It was called the dogma of dogmalessness. It's just a question of practice. If you put on your tefillin, you keep your Shabbos, but beliefs, we don't really have hard, fast beliefs. So the mitzvahs were not there to reinforce and to perpetuate anything of substance. And therefore the zeitgeist, the feeling and the hashkafa, the outlook of the nations of the world became the outlook of the Jewish people. So the mitzvahs were there, the action was there, but it wasn't based on the beliefs and the values. On the other hand, there's that old saying, I'm a Jew in my heart. I believe in the 13 principles of the Rambam. I believe in Olam Haba. I believe that the Jewish home is the land of Israel. I'm not so good in practice, says the Sefer HaChinuch, echoing the idea of the Rambam. Ki achar ha'pulos nimshachim halabavos. A person cannot be a Jew in his heart, because what you do is who you are. What you do based on what you believe is who you are. This is the secret of a mitzvah. We keep Shabbos. We reinforce the great belief of HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating the world. We reinforce the idea of HaKadosh Baruch Hu taking us out of Mitzrayim. But we don't just sit and think. We put it into action. We spend a day of actions. We make Kiddush, we make Havdalah, we don't do prohibited activity. We have long meals. And that reinforces the great ideas. That's the secret of the mitzvah. And the mitzvah is the secret of Jewish continuity. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us that as an Am, we would always survive. Lo yamushu mipicha. The Torah would never leave our mouths. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not promise the individual. That is up to us. And to the extent that we appreciate the mitzvah and appreciate that the mitzvah reifies, makes real to us the great ideas and the great values of Judaism, we, our families, will be perpetuated as Jews. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great Shabbos.